Gillian Anderson, the timeless beauty who has captivated generations with her poise, elegance, and mesmerizing presence, has once again managed to send shockwaves across the internet as her latest pantyhose and G-string photos surfaced, leaving fans and admirers gasping for air, unable to look away, unable to resist the undeniable magnetism she exudes. Because there is something otherworldly about the way she carries herself, blending sophistication with raw sensuality. A combination so rare that it transforms every single image into an unforgettable moment. And when she appears in those daring ensembles, wrapped in sheer pantyhose that highlight the sculpted perfection of her legs, paired with a G-string that leaves very little to the imagination, the world collectively pauses, stares, and simply cannot process the overwhelming allure. Because Gillian Anderson is not just a celebrity, not just an actress, she is a cultural icon whose aura commands attention in a way few can ever hope to achieve. And in these photos, her confidence radiates stronger than ever, making it absolutely clear that age has done nothing but refine her beauty, sharpen her confidence, and solidify her status as one of the most unforgettable women in Hollywood history. Because it is not just about the clothing or the poses, but the energy, the unapologetic boldness, the fearless statement of empowerment wrapped in glamour, leaving fans whispering her name in awe as they scroll through each picture again and again, unable to believe that someone can truly embody such intoxicating elegance. And yet, Gillian does it effortlessly, because that has always been her way. From her earliest days on screen, where she stunned as the intelligent and enigmatic Dana Scully in The X, to her powerful transformations in The Crown and Sex Education, she has mastered the art of reinventing herself, of remaining relevant, of staying steps ahead of an industry that often forgets women after a certain age. But Gillian refuses to fade. She rises, she evolves, she dominates. And now with these photos, she has shattered every stereotype, every limitation, reminding the entire world that beauty, sensuality, and confidence are eternal when carried by a woman who knows her worth. And fans across the globe have erupted in admiration, flooding social media with comments that range from stunned disbelief to pure admiration, calling her a goddess, an icon, the definition of timeless seduction. Because while many celebrities attempt bold photo shoots, none manage to combine class and daring the way Gillian Anderson does. Her pantyhose-clad legs stretching into infinity, her G-string a provocative whisper of rebellion against convention. Every detail of the imagery meticulously balanced between art and desire, creating not just photographs but cultural moments that will live on in conversations for years to come. Because when Gillian Anderson bears herself to the world, she does it with the grace of a queen, the fire of a rebel, and the allure of a woman who knows she has nothing to prove and yet proves everything, making onlookers question reality itself. Because how is it possible for someone to appear more breathtaking, more magnetic, more irresistible with each passing year? And yet here she is, defying time, defying expectation, defying gravity itself. And it is this defiance, this sheer dominance of her own narrative, that makes her pantyhose and G-string photos more than just pictures. They are declarations. They are bold exclamations of feminine power wrapped in cinematic glamour. And fans are left breathless, drooling, and unable to comprehend the sheer magnitude of her presence. Because Gillian Anderson is not just showing skin. She is showing the world that true beauty, true seduction, true allure comes not from youth or trends, but from the eternal fire that burns within a woman who owns herself completely. And that is why these images will never be forgotten, will never fade. Because once you have looked at Gillian Anderson in pantyhose and a G, you cannot unsee it. You cannot undo the spell. You are locked, captivated, ensnared by her magic, her energy, her impossible perfection. And you are left with no choice but to whisper her name and admit that you have never seen anything quite like her before. Nor will you ever again. And as if the first wave of photos wasn't enough to leave fans gasping, Gillian Anderson's presence in the second round of pantyhose and G-string images elevates the entire spectacle into something beyond ordinary glamour, beyond fleeting fashion trends. Because what she has delivered is nothing short of a masterclass in how sensuality, confidence, and artistry collide to create imagery that lingers in the mind forever, haunting you with every detail, every contour, every flash of light captured against her flawless figure. And there's something deeply magnetic about the way she poses, The way she looks into the camera with a gaze that pierces straight through the screen into your very soul, reminding you that this is not a woman defined by the male gaze or industry expectations, but by her own undeniable power, her own carefully sculpted confidence, her own refusal to play by anyone else's rules. And that is exactly what makes these photos so dangerously intoxicating. Because she is not just wearing pantyhose and a G-string, she is commanding them, transforming simple fabrics into tools of seduction and empowerment, draping them across her body like armor, like a declaration of dominance, making it clear that when Gillian Anderson decides to show herself, she doesn't just participate in she conquers it, she redefines it, she owns every inch of it. And the world can only watch in awe as she bends reality, making time stop, making jaws drop, making hearts pound, because in every angle, every frame, she seems to grow more impossible, more surreal, more goddess-like. A living contradiction of strength and softness, daring and elegance, restraint and exposure. And what truly pushes it into legendary territory is the way fans are reacting. Because social media isn't just buzzing, it's exploding, with hashtags carrying her name trending across continents, with fans comparing her to timeless icons like Marilyn Monroe and Sophia Loren, yet insisting she surpasses them because she brings something uniquely modern, uniquely powerful, uniquely Gillian into the mix. A blend of bold rebellion against societal expectations and the grace of an untouchable Hollywood legend. And people can't help but confess their shock, their admiration, their absolute surrender to the vision she has created. Because these aren't just photos to scroll past. These are photos to study, to admire, to replay in your head late at night when the memory of her silhouette, her legs encased in shimmering pantyhose, her daring G-string cutting a line of sheer rebellion across her body, comes flooding back with the force of a tidal wave. Overwhelming, inescapable, unforgettable. And it's in this endless replay that the true genius of Gillian Anderson's allure reveals itself. Because she isn't simply posing, she's storytelling. She's embodying a narrative of strength, survival, seduction, and self-possession. One that whispers to every fan who gazes upon her. This is what it means to be free. This is what it means to be fearless. This is what it means to be unforgettable. And in that whisper lies the truth. The reason why her pantyhose and G-string photos will never be just a passing viral sensation. They will live on. They will linger. They will burn themselves into the collective imagination of everyone who has ever dared to look. Because once you've seen Gillian Anderson like this, you are marked. You are changed. You are caught in her gravitational pull. And you realize with both awe and disbelief that you will never, ever look at her or perhaps at any woman the same way again. Because she has redefined beauty. She has redefined allure. And she has redefined what it means to absolutely own the spotlight. Leaving fans not just stunned but devoted, desperate for more, clinging to every glimpse of her. Because Gillian Anderson is not just showing off in photos, she is rewriting history, proving once and for all that true icons don't fade. They don't bend, they don't bow to the passage of time. They rise higher, they burn brighter, they seduce harder, and they etch themselves deeper into our imaginations than ever before. And in that realization lies the final, devastating truth. You will never recover from looking at these images. You will never escape the spell she has cast. And you will never stop whispering her name as the embodiment of perfection. The ultimate fusion of power and sensuality. The one woman who makes you look twice, drool uncontrollably, and admit without shame that you are completely, hopelessly, and eternally under her command.